officially get going. Done. Perfect. Okay. Hey guys. Okay, I'm super excited. I don't remember what today is. What is today? The 18th? April 18th. Very excited. We're a quick Zoom on we do these if you guys haven't been on here before we do these every Sunday. Sometimes they're at 9:30. And anyways, we usually try to bring you a little bit of a different topic. Sometimes we interview other leaders and they get to share their tips with us and stuff like that. But I have just like a random topic that I wanted to talk about tonight because I think that a lot of us either have, did, or will have gone through something similar to where this is you're gonna benefit and you're gonna get what I'm saying. So I want to talk about fear. Okay. So if anybody has ever had fear, okay, affect them in any sort of way, whether it be like maybe it was like fear of getting started with the business, or fear after getting started with the business, or fear of doing something new with the business. So, because like right now, I'm gonna try to talk about it and as in a way of how it would pertain to the business. And so I was watching I was listening to a Stephen Furtick. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a pastor or whatever, but I was listening to one of his little thingies that he was talking about fear the other day when I was doing the dishes, and he said something to me that I was like, oh, or said something to me. I say it like he was talking to me personally in my kitchen. I guess he kind of sort of is, but anyways, so he said it and I was just like, oh, dang. And I like wrote it on a little note card and I'm like, I need to talk about that on Zoom. So he was talking about faith and fear and how they're both powered by focus, is what he was saying. And, you know, and he was talking about how like to prepare yourself to be scared, prepare yourself to be nervous. It's like arming yourself for those things. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know what your guys' everybody's faith might be different. I'm just going to use it as in this way to be, talking about it in a way to explain it, if God's not your thing and like universe, earth, whatever is your thing, that's cool. But I'm just going to use it as an example and I'm sure you can relate it into how it suits you personally. But if you think about it, like if you're like scared to do something, or if you're in like a crappy situation or things are going on that you don't understand why that they're happening or whatever, and you're like, gosh, if wish like God would like just stop this, or if he would just do this, it would make this situation so much easier. And Stephen Furtick was like, he doesn't have to change your conditions or change your situation in order to increase your courage. He doesn't have to do that. Like he's already given you the courage. Like he's already given you courage. Like you already have it. It's just up to you to increase it. And how you increase your courage is by fixing your focus. And so I was like, okay. And like he said this, and like it was like the video that I watched was like several different clips, so it kind of bounced around a little bit. But if you think about it, he was talking about how you have to separate your conditions separate your courage from your conditions. And that's what he means by that. So instead of feeding your fear, right, instead of focusing on what the actual fear is, just focus on your like courage. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like saying like focus on the things that you can control versus the things that you can't, and he was talking about before I get into the other examples, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything that I wanted to say on that part, but but that statement alone, you guys, of saying that your fear is powered by your focus. Okay, so it's powered by your focus. If you're focusing on what you're nervous about or what you're afraid about, like for instance, I've been talking to a girl for a very long time about joining the business. Okay, she's been one of my customers. She's ordered for months and months and months and months and months. I've talked to her for now, I want to say at least 4 years about the business. 4 years, you guys, 4 years. And then she finally got on one of those pre-selling your samples or whatever Zooms. And she's still a little bit fearful. Like she wants to do it, but like she's focusing on all of her fears of why she can't get started in the business, you know. And then one thing, you know, as soon as I like help her get over one fear, then she focuses on another one, you know what I mean? Like, or do you ever notice, like, if you're thinking about something, you will see it more and more and more and more and more, like you just like think about, for instance, if you're even just like scrolling through your social media, sometimes if you think about or if you see a meme or for the freaking coronavirus, okay, let's like say if you like saw a couple statuses about that, then now all of a sudden like that's all you're seeing in your newsfeed. That's all that seems to be popping up, whether it's a meme about the newsfeed or it's an article about the newsfeed from Republicans or from Democrats, or about unemployment or about the stimulus checks, so, like all about having to do with like the coronavirus. So like it's just like something that just seems to be like showing up, right? It just collectively starts piling there. It's kind of like where your focus goes, that just it like increases whatever that focus is. And then but how he said that though, he's like, man, your faith is powered by your focus. Like if you're focusing on your faith and how strong it is in that, whatever your faith is in, then that increases and that gets better, that gets stronger, like your courage, all of that gets better. So like kind of like how I was talking about, like on, I don't know, one of the most recent Zooms when I was like, be solution minded, right? Be solution minded, because if you're looking for problems, you will find them. But if you're looking for solutions, you'll find those too. And you'll find a hell of a lot of them if that's what you're focused on finding. So like, for instance, like, what's another way to kind of put it? Like when someone's talking about how, oh, hold on, Amanda's trying to get on the Zoom and she doesn't know the password. So, like if they're saying, like Carrie Young likes to say, especially with the business, she was like, you know, some people are afraid to get started or do certain things because they don't feel experienced or they don't feel as skilled to be doing certain things or whatever. You know what I mean? Like for instance, doing a live video or something. Like someone's like, I can't do a live video because I don't speak like the people who I watch on live videos. You know what I'm saying? And so, hey, Amanda. So, you know, it's, oh, what was I saying? Oh, Amanda, or not Amanda, not Amanda. Carrie, she'll be like, action outworks skill every single day of the week. Outworks every single day of the week. Why? Because they're focused on the solutions, right? They're focused on what they can do to make it happen. It doesn't matter if somebody's better at doing a certain something. If they ain't doing much of it, it's not going to help them, right? So if their faith is up, if their action is up, if your solution minded is up, that's where the success and the results come from. So what else? Okay, so for instance, to put it more so into like the perspective, you know, of the business, like some people thinking like, when they get started, sometimes you guys may feel, or maybe you have felt when you got started too, or maybe you're not at a certain place in the business yet and you think like, well, I can't, you know, I'm not as confident about the business opportunity, or I'm not as confident, or I can't post and portray like what I feel about the business or what the business can do for people because I haven't achieved that yet, right? Or I haven't made, you know, my first commissions check yet, or I haven't made a check that had a comma in it yet, or I haven't paid a full month's worth of groceries yet. So how can I, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so sometimes you're like, I can't do the things, or my whatever isn't there yet, or I can't do that yet because I haven't achieved, right? So and that's in a way a sense of fear, right? Because you're like, well, I'm afraid I can't really post about it because how post about it? No. That's where faith again comes in, right? So it's you know, it's stepping into your goals before you fully checked them off. It's stepping into the leadership role before you get that leadership title, right? Or that rank title that you're going for. For instance, a Ruby in our company makes an average of like $400 to $500 a month, right? That's their income. So say you're stepping in as a brand new distributor and you have a goal of making that your income. So it's like you putting in, what, buddy? you putting in shut the door, please. You putting in the action and the faith into, and you claiming like, this is my goal, this is what's happening. You're not afraid to do the actions because of if you don't get to that goal. No, you're like, this is my goal and I have faith that that is my goal and I'm getting there. So these are the actions that I'm going to take in order to get there. I want to be earning this much amount a month, right? So what does someone who is earning that, what do they do every single day? How do they post? How do they act? What do they do when they're talking to their team? How do they talk to their potentials? What do they post about? How many times a day are they posting? What are they putting in their stories? How are they doing up their stories? You know what I mean? Like, what kinds of things are they doing with their stories? And again, being solution minded, having that faith, setting aside the fear, not focusing on what people are going to think of their posts, or wonder if if they can type up a post like that, or if it's going to sound like that, or how long it's going to take them to get to that goal, or what if they don't get to that goal. No, we're not focusing on those fears. We're going to focus on the faith, and we're going to focus on that's already coming, right? That's where our faith comes in. So we're focusing on the solutions, we're focusing on the things that we can control. And like, in reality, like, this can help us in like every stinking aspect of your life, every aspect of our life, right? This can help us with our kids, with our 9-to-5 jobs if you still have them, with schooling, with your kids schooling, with your parenting, with your own self-development, with your friendships, with your relationships, with your marriage, everything, just everything. And then another thing too, you guys, is when we focus on the faith, when we focus on the solutions, okay, that's when we start to do those things, right? That's when we start taking the action, and then the action breeds results, and then the results breeds more stronger emotions and stronger faith, right? You move further away from the fear and closer to the faith of what's happening and what you want to happen, right? Because action, you guys, brings that emotion. Because like, sometimes, now I'm kind of going on like a little side note, but when you think about it, with like like, when people are like, well, I just don't feel motivated, or I have a hard time getting going, especially if you haven't done anything for a minute or all day or 2 days or whatever, doesn't matter, whatever it has to do with, sometimes we're like, well, we're not motivated to do it. Well, you don't typically feel motivated before you start to do something. So how many times have you guys ever kind of felt a little bit like, what? A little bit like, I haven't really got much. Maybe you feel like maybe you haven't gotten a whole lot of, action on any of your posts, or maybe you put up a poll and you feel like maybe you haven't got a whole lot of action, or maybe you just feel a little stuck or something, and maybe you haven't signed a loyal customer in a while, or signed a distributor in a while, or haven't had a whole lot of good conversations. But the moment that you decide to start doing those things, the moment that you're like, you know what, screw this, I'm just gonna throw up a post about the giveaway, and then you start messaging people about that, and people start saying yes, and then they start putting up post for you, and then you're sending out more of this and that, and then you decide to put a post up about the deal, and then you decide to throw up a or throw up a opportunity post, and you're putting stuff up in your stories, and the next thing you know, you sign a loyal customer, and then now you're feeling on fire, right? Versus like earlier, you didn't really want to do crap, right? But now that you started putting in action, you got a little bit of result from it, and then now you want to do the things, right? How many of you guys have like been in, either you signed a customer, you signed a distributor, or you've been in a really good conversation with somebody or something, and you're like, now I feel, now that got your whatever that's called in your body, your endorphins, is that what that's called? I don't know. Got that going, and you're like, yes, like, now I just want to go message, like, who else do I need to talk to? Come here, let me tell you about my products. You know what I mean? Like that, like, you just feel excited. And the reason why you feel like that is because you put in action first. The action came, and then the emotion followed, right? Then that motivation followed. Then that faith continues to grow, and all of that. And so, what we truly what we focus on is what expands. You know, at the end of the day, what you focus on expands. And if you focus on your fear, you already know what that's going to get you. You already know. But if you focus on your faith, you focus on the solutions, you focus on what you want, you focus on where you're going, right? Where you're going, where you want to go. That's what's going to bring all the things more that you want. That's what's going to bring you more courage. That's what's going to increase your faith. That's what's going to get you on fire. And guess what, guys? When we do that, when we feel that way, other people feel it. You know what I'm saying? Other people feel it, whether you're talking to them in person or you're putting it up on a post or you do like a 15-second video in your stories of you talking. People feel that. People feel that. I've literally had a distributor sign in the beginning of my business from on my team because she just felt like what we did was so exciting and she wanted to be a part of it. Just because the way that I posted and talked about it, she was like, I remember her coming to me and telling me that, like, I just want to, like, it just looks like you're having so much fun and I want to be a part of that. Like, so people feel, you know, what you're doing. And so anyways, that's a whole nother Zoom, but that was pretty much all that I wanted to say. Something that Ashley Mayfield, she's an ambassador diamond, you guys, she always says the disposition comes before the position. And so she's basically saying that you need to, you know, pretty much act the part, you know, and do all of that before, you know, while you're well on your way to get to wherever it is that you're wanting to go. What the heck? I just got a notification and then it disappeared from my phone. That was the strangest thing. It's gone. Like, it's literally gone now. So, you know, that's just something that I wanted to share tonight. I'm like, because sometimes we can bounce all in and that, and we all, I think, need that constant reminder, just to remember, what we focus on expands, you know, and that fear and faith are both powered by the same thing, and that is focus, you know. So that's pretty much it. Crystal, if you want to stop the recording, you can do that, my dear.